All right, so to the white individuals who happen to come through to this platform, I just want to read this off to you just so you can get an understanding of where I'm coming from. Sweet Maria asked if she could chalk Black Lives Matter to show her love. Absolutely. So proud of her kind heart. And then two cruisers rode up because a nasty neighbor called the police on my 9-year old. She reported people yelling and painting in the streets. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Maria was chalking by herself, and I was reading on the porch swinging. The deputies looked at the neighbor and said, quote, "It's chalk." They also told us that they agree with the statement, Black Lives Matter, and encourage us to write it larger. I told the deputies I was sorry that they were called out and told them that I care about their safety and appreciate the work that they do. I do not regret letting Maria express herself. She is upset and scared, but I explained Billy, the nasty neighbor, is an example of why we must speak up. Billy screaming, quote, "This neighborhood is going to hell," over and over again because my daughter wanted to show love speaks volumes. I'm now thinking we need a pride flag and a Black Lives Matter flag. Thanks for the push, Billy and Dean Eklund. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. Hey, how you doing? This is SEIJIHITO here to bring you the news. So, YouTube has remonetized the platform after I reapplied, but still, I want to let you guys know if you want to support the platform, just in case anything like this happens again, you can do it by way of PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, and also by the Anchor. And you can also further support the platform by way of going to the Teespring store or the shoe store that is located in the comment section below.
3 words Mira Ackland wanted to help spread. She doesn't have a loud voice.
Come on.
And she's 9, so no social media just yet. But she has chalk.
I wrote Black Lives Matter.
In big, bright letters in front of her home.
Black and white people, they should be treated the samely, and I wanted to show my support how much I really care about black people.
Neighbors came out to help us, and we've had mostly all support.
Until she says a neighbor called police.
Officer pulled up and put his window down and said, "It's chalk."
And my whole body was like shaking.
But they didn't stop her.
They said that I should do it more often, and like if it goes away, then I should just do it more and more.
And I said, "You know, honey, as uncomfortable as you feel, people of color feel this fear every day, multiplied times a million." She couldn't understand why people would hate someone just because of their skin color. You know, why would someone...
As we were talking, neighbors became angry.
You don't have to call for backup.
No, honey, that was your mom.
Honey,
Your mom called the police yesterday
94 years old.
and called the police on a 9-year-old.
Shut the up.
Oh.
Shut your mouth.
Despite the discouragement, Mira's mission to spread this message worked.
It was alarming that we've reached a point in life to where we have to call the police on a third grader who just simply wants to voice her opinion and voice her feelings on how she feels.
Christopher Burton knew his daughter wanted to be a part of the Black Lives Matter movement. After catching wind of Mira's efforts, they showed up ready to draw.
Where she can come out, help support another young lady as well too who is going through something at such a young age.
This is like a really important message that needed to be heard to kids all over the place, kids, adults, everybody.
And this kid was listening and using the small resources she had to spread a message she says doesn't quite fit on paper.
I'm just gonna make it bigger and do it over and over again.
In Canal Winchester, Kaylee Gunderson, ABC6 News.
All right, so to yet again, all of those white people who tend to question me on this platform, and you want to say a variety of things like, oh, you never showcase, good white people. That's because there's a few. this little girl and her parents are one of those few. And for me, I refuse to allow you or any other Caucasian individual to try to dictate to me what it is that I should and should not be doing. Because all that is going to enable you to do is to hide behind the likes of this little girl and her family, right? So let's just get this straight. A older white woman who is in that neighborhood, correct? Because obviously there's some black people who are there, right? Older white neighbor who is in that neighborhood decided to call the police on a little white 9-year-old girl because she was writing Black Lives Matter in the street. Now, nowhere in the story did it state that, oh, the reason that she called was because she was worried about the little girl getting hit by a car, or that it was dangerous for her to be out there, or any of the excuses, right? Because we know how people like to try to give off a multitude of excuses. That wasn't here. And even underneath the comment section under other news related platforms, people were agreeing with the reason that the older white woman decided to call the police on this little girl, saying that it was vandalism and saying that it was wrong and a variety of things like that. When the police came out there and they told the family that it's not vandalism, and they also told them that, hey, Black lives do matter, and then they also told them that, hey, you should write this bigger. So obviously, they're either saying that the cops who are in that community, who are white, who showed up, are either wrong, or they're saying that somebody else is wrong. I'm not sure, because I could have sworn that white people were for the cops. So if the cops are basically telling this little girl and her family that everything is okay, you're not doing anything wrong, everything is completely legal, we agree with your statement, and matter of fact, you need to write it bigger. What's wrong with that? How come you don't want to side with the cops on that? How is that still an issue with what this little girl is doing? It's literally not affecting anybody. It's chalk. People will drive over it. Birds will, go over it. It's going to lose coloration over time because it's chalk. But yet, that's not what the white neighbor was screaming about. Because like I said before, a lot of the racism, bigotry, and discrimination, it's taught from home, or it's taught from people in the surrounding areas who are in trying to impart a lot of that hate knowledge onto young girls like her, because they are the real ones that want to keep, as people like to say, hate alive. But yet again, even with me pointing out this story and using this young girl as an example of the few who are actually out there who are doing this on their own accord because they believe in something, because they themselves don't have hate in their heart, body, or mind, you're still going to have other individuals who are going to still try to counter this information that you can obviously see here. And they're going to try to deflect and go on to something else, because realistically there's no wiggle room for them here to even try to debate on. This was obviously wrong. This was a waste of taxpayer dollars. You literally call the police on a 9-year-old girl who's not doing nothing wrong. She's doing the same thing that girls back in the 60s and so on were doing with chalk on sidewalks. But now, because there's an actual meaning, there's an actual voice, there's an actual movement behind it, there's an actual reasoning, you want to ignore that and you want to find it offensive. And because you find it offensive, you decide that you want to be like the other Karens out here and you want to call the police. But you messed up because you called it on somebody who has the same exact skin complexion as you. So that's exactly why you didn't get the results, in a sense, that you were looking for, or that your hatred wanted to see take place. So like I said before, white people, I do these videos when sometimes they come up, and I only showcase them for specific reasons, because like I said before, these are the few in America who are actually doing it without black people asking or telling them. She did this on her own accord. She was out there, as her mom stated, chalking by herself. And then the neighbor called the police on her. So, like I said, white people, check the people who are in your communities. Check the people who are in your family. Check your friends. Check your coworkers. Check other people in and outside of your surrounding area before you decide to try to dictate to black people how they should or should not conduct themselves when it deals with how they, as in black people, decide to report on the news and the narrative that is there or that is presented. So, anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I stated in the comment section below. And again, shout out to young Maria and to her family for, trying to shine some light on what it is that is going on in the way that you decided to do it. So, as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.